Okay, I'm a real idiot. I just made 2 videos and I didn't even have the damn record button on. Now, they were pretty horrible videos anyway. Um, I want to show you how to use this generic macro file again, and this one is on you'll find it in the website here, and it gets updated all the time, so it's right here on the website. Okay, so in all my classes I download it all the time and use it. All right, and the biggest, now what I did is I make a shift. As soon as you open, there's a shift control R and there's a shift control C, and I want to make sure that you know how to kind of use this. And then there are all these other macros here, like color the titles, find the rows, fix decimal points, replace sheet name. It really should be replace the sheet name in the formulas. In other words, there's a pane, if you have a sheet and it's got all these little formulas, it does that. So here's what I'm going to do. Instead of showing you, if you want to look at all the macros, of course, you just go here. Now, let's look at the one that deletes the rows and columns. So you just find delete. I hope it's okay. Here we have delete rows. Now the way this delete rows works is that you first use this little macro to find the rows and the columns, and then I have another one that deletes rows and columns, and it's going to show you how many there are. And then after you find how many rows and columns there are in the sheet, and this is a crucial kind of point, is that there's something called max row and max column. This is for, I'm going to put here a little thing, for finding a number of rows in sheet, for finding number of columns in sheet. Okay, so this is a public variable that's available to all the other files. So as soon as you yeah, let's look at this. As soon as you run this one, then it defines a public variable. It defines those variables. It's called max row and max col. And then you go, here's the key, you work through the rows from the end. Okay, and then we keep rows set to false, meaning delete. And then you work around the columns and check if there's anything there. And to do that, you use this worksheet function thing. And then once we're finished, delete row if you haven't found anything. Okay, and it's the same thing with the delete columns. Okay, you get the columns, and the key is to work backwards. This took me so long to get it. I used to have some long kind of macros to do this kind of crap. So let's see how it works. So if I kind of made a thing. I've got some blank columns here. No, is that the one? Yeah, let's use this one. So let's put some, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the colors. Okay. So just by pressing Shift Control C, these two things came from you see it says inputs, it came from the red sheet, so we knew how to make that a red color. If you want kind of a really basic color, you just put color option 1, and then once you put the color option 1, you press the one that says implement the macros, Shift Control C, and then we're back to a different color. Now let's say for some reason we have some extra blank lines here. Okay, And when you read some of these files, they have this, and then we have some extra blank columns. Okay, so the way that delete rows and delete, so if you go to view and you want to use that delete rows and delete columns, you go to view macros and you go down to the one that says delete rows, and you just press run. And it tells you, well, look, we have 95 rows and 9 columns. It did that, but it didn't do this. Let's try I just realized something. View macros, and let's go to delete the columns. Okay, and run that one. Now it found 19 columns, and it takes them all away. Okay, now the second thing I added, or you know, these people, they love the kind of putting these titles. So every time we have a title up here, we can put a different kind of row number on it. All right, and this time, let's just make it 2. So if you put this, I hope this, see it says title columns 2. And let's say we want this kind of code number 5, which is a nice kind of renewable energy. It's a green code. Okay, so let's press implement. And after we press implement, we press the titles, and then this is another macro where you don't have the, I didn't assign this to a shortcut. If you want to assign it to a shortcut, you go to the auto open file here, and you see that you can, I've forgotten, application on key, use that thing, and then it just does that. Now if you wanted to make it a little wider for some reason, so let's say we want to go to 4 columns, you just change this to 4, and let's say we like code number 6 a little bit better. Okay, you click implement, and then, you know, what I showed you in the other macro is if you have your own, you can look at this macro and just see, okay, instead of always wasting a whole bunch of time doing this, you know, formatting, you can, I suppose, assign that to a macro, but just press run, and then we have it. You see it's a little wider, whatever style you like. And the way that works is you'd record the macro for your kind of favorite color, and then let's put titles. And what that does is, again, you find the number of rows and columns, and once you find the number of rows and columns, you see, well, define a range name, so how wide you want to go. If columns I'm going to put is greater than or equal to 8, then let's just take the whole row. Okay, and then once you define a public variable. Again, this is title option, and this comes from right here. Okay, comes from right here, and then you can okay, and then you're defining these two things, which are available to any single macro, and of course to make these range names, you press Shift Control F3, and then you're done. Now, can I show you something I'm really proud of? The Shift Control R is a big deal, okay, for me. And here's one of the things that never worked. Let's say it works for me best with Alt EIS. So if we want to go to 20 different rows. Now if you put 100 here, before that didn't work. Now I hope Shift Control R works so it can look up or down. Okay, that didn't work before. The second thing that didn't work very well is if I had something like down here, I want to be able to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 rows. So it's kind of the same thing. You can put a couple of parameters here for the Shift Control R, and I think I should move these over just a little bit. So let's look up 10 rows, and just like you do other things, you have to press implement. Okay, now so if I put 100 here, Shift Control R, then it goes up. It goes up and looks up 10 rows. If I would have just put to look up 3 rows, okay, and no, this I got that wrong. This is the length of the row. Let's put 10 here. Let's just look up 3 rows here. Excuse me, I don't know my own program rule. And then we press Shift Control R. It doesn't even work. It just says I can't find any rows to do. I'd have to copy all the rows. So that actually worked. Okay, you know. And if we put another one here, and then Shift Control R. Oops, that didn't work. Shit, I gotta fix that. Okay, I'm not that upset. But here's the best thing. If you put 300 here, and then Shift Control R to make it go to 300, if you put down here it says Shift Control S to undo, Shift Control M to clear the status bar. If you press Shift Control S, it takes you back. It undoes it. That's what I didn't have before. So 500, Shift Control R, Shift Control S. And better yet, if you had a formula in here, times, let's just make it this times that. Okay, Shift Control R. So that's your formula. Now I'm going to change the formula. This times that. Okay. Shift Control R. We got a much bigger number. Shift Control S. It takes you back to that other number. You can look and see how I was able to do that in the Shift Control R section. So I think this is a big deal. There are a few very big fixes. That very last one, I'll have to look again. I might keep trying to fix that thing. But essentially, there I think are pretty significant improvements in Shift Control R. Okay, and that's enough of this video. I think that's a long enough video for this.